Lesson 13 homework. Number 1, complete the sentences with the correct number of units and then complete the equation. 3 groups of how many tenths is 1 and 5 tenths. I'm going to change these to make them into whole numbers. So instead of 1 and 5 tenths, I'm going to change that to 15, thinking of it as 15 tenths. And groups of means multiplying. So 3 groups of something would be 3 times something is equal to 15. So 3 groups of what is 15? Well, 3 groups of 5 is 15. Since we're speaking in tenths, it would be 3 groups of 5 tenths is 1 and 5 tenths. So 1 and 5 tenths divided by 3 is 5 tenths. B, 6 groups of, so 6 times something is equal to 24 hundredths. I'm just going to make it 24 hundredths. 6 times 4 equals 24. So 6 groups of 4 hundredths is 24 hundredths, and 24 hundredths divided by 6 is 4 hundredths. 5 groups of, so 5 times what is equal to 45 thousandths. So 5 times 9 equals 45, so this would be 9 thousandths, and 45 thousandths divided by 5 is 9 thousandths. Number 2, complete the number sentence. Express the quotient in units and then in standard form. 9 and 36 hundredths divided by 3. So they've broken it up to make it easier to divide here for us. So first we're going to just look at the ones place. So in the ones place here we have 9, so we have 9 ones. So we would do 9 divided by 3 plus how many hundredths? We have 36 hundredths divided by 3. So if we do the first problem, 9 ones divided by 3, that would be 3 ones, plus 36 hundredths divided by 3, that would be 12 hundredths. So our answer, 3 ones plus 12 hundredths, is 3 and 12 hundredths. Part B, 36 and 12 thousandths divided by 3. So we have 36 ones divided by 3 plus how many thousandths? We have 12 thousandths divided by 3. So 36 ones divided by 3, that would be 12 ones, plus 12 thousandths divided by 3, that would be 4 thousandths. So we have 12 and 4 thousandths. See, 3 and 55 hundredths divided by 5. So we're going to break this into tenths and hundredths. So we have 35 tenths divided by 5 plus 5 hundredths divided by 5. Now, they did the tenths because if we were to just keep the 3 and do 3 ones divided by 5, that's not a very easy number to divide by. So they saw that if we extended it to the tenths place, it would be 35, and 35 divided by 5, that is one of our basic facts that we know. So 35 tenths divided by 5, that would be 7 tenths, plus 5 hundredths divided by 5, that would be 1 hundredth, and 7 tenths plus 1 hundredth is equal to 71 hundredths. Okay. 3 and 545 thousandths divided by 5. Okay, so we're dividing by 5. I need to see, I could just take the 1 and do 3 ones divided by 5, but that's not easily, I can't really easily think of the answer to that in my head. So I'm going to turn it into 35 tenths, like we did before. So 35 tenths divided by 5, because we know 35 divided by 5 is 7. And then instead of just doing 4, because again, 4 hundredths divided by 5, not easy to do, but we can do 45 divided by 5. So plus 45 thousandths divided by 5. So we would have 35 tenths divided by 5, that is 7 tenths, plus 45 thousandths divided by 5, that's 9 thousandths. And our answer, 7 tenths plus 9 thousandths, would be 709 thousandths. Be careful that you don't write 79 hundredths. There's nothing in the hundredths place here, so make sure you get your 0 as the placeholder there. Number 3, find the quotients, then use words, numbers, or pictures to describe any relationships you notice between each pair of problems and quotients. So for this, there could be lots of different answers. I'm just going to kind of show you what I notice between the dividends. So 21 divided by 7, well, that's 3. 2 1/10 divided by 7, that would be 21 tenths divided by 7 is equal to 3 tenths. So we would have 3 tenths. What I notice in here is that 21 is 10 times greater than 2 1/10, and 3 is 10 times greater than 3 tenths. So in part A, 21, when it's 10 times greater, we get an answer that is 10 times greater. So 21 is 10 times greater than 2 1/10. Therefore, their quotients, remember a quotient is the answer to a division problem. Their quotients are also separated by a power of 10. All right, part B, 48 divided by 8. That is 6. So if we have 48 thousandths divided by 8, we get 6 thousandths. So that would be 6 thousandths. And I noticed the same thing. So 48 is not 10 times greater, but it would be 1,000 times greater than 48 thousandths. So 6 is 1,000 times greater than 6 thousandths. So you could write something along those lines. Number 4, are the quotients reasonable? Explain your answers. So we have 54 hundredths divided by 6. So if we have 54 hundredths, we would get 9 hundredths. But here they've written 9 wholes, but our answer is actually 9 hundredths. So 9 wholes is very large. So this is not a reasonable answer, because if we start with 54 hundredths, that's already less than 1. And so if we're going to divide that by a whole number, which means that we're making it even smaller, getting an answer that's bigger than what we started with, it does not make sense. All right, part B, 5 4/10 divided by 6. So if we have, let's see if this just makes sense without actually solving the problem. So if we have 5 4/10 and we divide by 6, if we made this 5 4/10 is pretty close to 6, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. And I would say that 1 is very close to 9 tenths. We're just a tenth off. So this would be yes, that is a reasonable answer. And 54 divided by 6. So 54 divided by 6, well, we know that's 9, and that's one of our math facts. So if they got 9 hundredths is very, very small compared to 9. So I'm going to say this is not reasonable. Okay. And number 5, a toy airplane costs $4.84. It costs 4 times as much as a toy car. What is the cost of the toy car? So the airplane's 4 times greater, which means if we want to find out how much the car costs, we need to divide the airplane cost by 4. So we have $4.84 divided by 4. And what we can do is break it up. So if we have 4 ones divided by 4 plus 8 tenths divided by 4 plus 4 hundredths divided by 4, we would get 1 in the ones place, plus 8 tenths divided by 4, 2 tenths, plus 4 hundredths divided by 4, 1 hundredth. And if we add those together, we have 1 in the ones place, plus a 2 in the tenths place, plus a 1 in the hundredths place. So we get 1 in 21 hundredths, or a toy car cost $1.21. Julian bought 3 9/10 liters of cranberry juice, and Jay bought 8 7/4 liters of apple juice. They mixed the two juices together and then poured them equally into 2 bottles. How many liters of juice are in each bottle? Okay, so this is going to be a multi-step problem. The first thing they did is they mixed the 2 juices together. So Julian had 3 9/10, Jay had 8 7/4. So if they mix them together, let's see how much they would have. So 8 7/4 plus 3 9/10. So we get 4, 6, carry the 1, 9 plus 3 is 12. So they start out with 12 64 liters all together, but then they pour them equally into 2 bottles. So now we need to take the 12 64 liters and divide it into the 2 different bottles. So I'm going to split it into 12 and 64 because those are both you can divide them into 2 easily. So if I have 12 ones divided by 2 plus 64 hundredths divided by 2. 12 ones divided by 2 is 6 ones, plus 64 hundredths divided by 2 is 32 hundredths. And then 6 ones plus 32 hundredths is 6 32 hundredths liters. That's how much would be in each bottle. In each